Yeah. Hello, team. Welcome to this demo. And you'll be understanding end to end about the keyword as the AI, data science, and today's topic on the agentic AI, Gen AI. Okay. So let's start. Hope my screen is shared. Yeah. Let me confirm that. Yeah. Okay. So basically, today when you hear in 2025, most thing about the AI, the data science, you'll be hearing about Gen AI and Agentic AI. At the end of this demo, we'll be reaching to a point from the beginner to the intermediate to the expert level of understanding end to end the field of AI. Okay, so let's start. What's actually the data science? If you see, it's about getting the data, storing it, cleaning it, doing some action, performing some action, getting the insight so that the business will get uh, the insights from it. They take the action, they then generate the profit or whatever the KPIs that they want to increase. So basically, from the left hand side, if you see to the right hand side, it's all about the processes and the tools. Okay. And the existing tools that are present. Let's start with data science since longer. Okay. So the 1990s or the newer generation would understand that from the keyword as the AI, or they would just try to know that, okay, when the chat GPT has started, the AI revolution has started. But that's not the case. If you see from the very long, with the help of technology and the process, we had many of the companies, which many of the government would be uh, actually injecting the data, gathering the data for the statistics, and they would be storing it. The statisticians would be applying their mathematical formulas on it, and they would be coming to see the insights and then take some action or not. It depends upon them. So since data science is not just from the 2022 as a chat GPT, it started way long back, where weather applications would be collecting the data from the last decades since the 1950s to, and then main thing was the private companies or the consulting like the big four KPMG in the private sectors, they would be having their proprietary data. They would, for example, you can see that if they are operating in Brazil for selling the tractors, they would have all the details about the supply chain, the wholesale, the real retailers, the parts where it is coming from. So they would gather this data, keep it, uh, uh, use the technology at that time, 1980s, 90s, using then the Excel and using the human experience and the formulas, tools, techniques present till they would be giving consulting to their clients. They would be predicting, they would be again getting the insights, and then depending upon the insights, they would be uh, giving the consultation to the clients. Now, the big step started when in 1992, when HTTP web application or the HTTP protocol, or we call it as a web application creation happened, or the invention happened. So this gave all the business, all the different individuals a chance to have their presence online. And before that, all the systems or the computers were very huge, so it would be very costly. And then in the 1999, which let's go for the next slide. Through the pic, you can understand more. So through the 1999, when the web app or the bubble burst happened, at this time, what happened is all the business, whoever was offline, they wanted to be online, have a presence online to increase the sales revenue. So each of the business like retailers or pet care, they wanted to be online and have a web application. So that was the trend. Now in 2010 and 2012, we got mobile apps when the open source Android was released, or before that it was developed. Then everybody was able to download through the App Store, let it be the Android, iOS, or even the Windows presence were there from the Microsoft. Then we had this social media era where most individuals, not the business, but individuals were able to have their presence online, connect with each other, send messages, hit like button, or reshare their photos, upload the videos. So depending upon the technology evolution, this data was being generated. Now, in 2022, and even 3, 4 years before that, ChatGPT started the revolution, where ChatGPT is a use case where users are using it extensively, so we know it. But there are other applications also in the same year that was being used in many of the companies technically. So let's focus on the ChatGPT where it downloaded the whole internet. So what does internet data? It just today you have billions of 1.5 billion web applications which are hosted and mostly live, and this has been downloaded. All the books that are present are being scanned by the Google. All the web applications, all the videos, audios that are there on the internet. Okay, and these models are being trained so that it is useful for the chat, where it acts like trained or an expert in any of the field. Then today you can hear about in 2025 about the agentic AI, Gen AI applications, where the biggest question everybody most in the software are asking is SaaS software as a service is dead because of the AI or what. So we'll come to that point also. So before the agentic AI, Gen AI, or the working of the software, with my experience, I get say I have been working on the web application or as a full stack developer, and on the enterprise edition is development on the front end, back end deployment through the microservice and using the cloud on-prem. So we'll come into that part also. So basically, these are the important years when the evolution of the technology happened, and this was generating a lot, generating the data. Okay. S- So through pick, you can also understand in this way that same 1992 HTTP protocol, and then you have the bubble burst, or everybody wanted to come have an web application in 2020, 2010. After 2008, everybody wanted to have their presence through the mobile, and then the social media. Okay, and then we had the chat GPT release. Then you have the Gen AI or Agentic AI till now. So, in my personal experience, I can say that between 1999 2000, when the bubble burst happened, every business wanted to be online, and it became mandatory to be having a web application presence on the online, which was the first step. Having a .com or .org, or whichever business or organization you were in, that was the first step to be having a web application presence. Then in 2010 2012 started the trend where a business would also have to be mandatory having a mobile application in Android and iOS. Okay, now in 2024-25, all the technology, let's take example of business with their web application presence, mobile application, they want to integrate AI into it. So it has become the buzzword, and it has become mandatory for all the business to have these applications and AI working in the background as a selling point for their product. So you can imagine the amount of data that is being generated because of this technology presence, and from let's say 100 BC to 1992 or 2014, there was some amount of data. Let's take XYZ amount of data that was being generated around in the world, and within 5 years from 2012 to 2018, within the interval 5 years, the same amount of data was generated because of this technology. Okay. And because everybody individually, they are generating a lot of data, having the mobiles, usage of the application apps, mobile apps, uh, and they have their, I think averagely, people near me use nearly 17 apps in their phone, and nearly 7 to 8 are very active apps. Let it be the payment application, phone pay, GPay, social media, Instagram, Snapchat, and even social media has become like they have two different platforms. Probably Facebook in the background, and Instagram, Snapchat. So you can imagine the amount of data that is being generated around you. If I ask this question, can you measure the amount of data that the in the room that you're sitting is getting generated? So if probably five people are there, they're having the mobile and the IoT devices around you, the cars that are generating the data through the movement, the trains, the trucks that is getting all the sensors that are around you, even the light, fan, fridge, if the sensors are there, because in foreign countries we also have the sensors, the dash cam, dashboard on the cars and on the fridges, where you can have a conversation and then buy the products directly from Amazon on the fridge. So I'm speaking about these IoT devices, mainly the sensors. I'm speaking about the web applications. I'm speaking about all the mobile apps that every day you use, and the amount of data, volume of data that is being generated. Why are we speaking? Because the business are recording, are actually taking it, processing it, getting insights from it. We'll come to the use case what in detail. Okay. So you can see from the pic that an individual person per second is generating 17 megabyte MB of data. Okay. So particularly the mobile that they hold, the amount of movement that they do traveling from one place to another, the sensors getting generated, the room, if any sensor is there. So because of an individual in 2025, it is estimated that every second individual person, and in India we have billions of people, in the whole world billions of people are generating this amount of data. So, and the other IoT devices in the whole city, in the whole district, in the whole street, the cars, the sensors that are put on different devices, right? So 54 petabyte of the data is being generated every month. Now, why are we speaking? The volume of the data or the variety of the data also is important, right? We'll come to, I'll let you know about that. Okay, just understand the amount of the data that is being generated, because data is the raw material for the data science AI and the tools that you'll be working in the coming months once you're trained. Okay, so this also gives the same measurement that 17 MB every second an individual, you or anybody generates. That's the estimate, all the IoT devices. Now, in the last second point here is, since ages till 2010, whatever the data was being generated from 2011 or 12 till 18, the same amount of data got doubled within 5 years. And in 2025, this doubling of the data happens every 2 years, and it is estimated till 2028 to 2030, it will be quarterly. Okay. So for the audience, if I can ask, keeping the data topic aside, what is Moore's law? If you can, it's related to the transistors, that is the technology helping to gather the data. Okay. So everybody has some motivation. What is my motivation for becoming a data scientist or coming into the world of AI or data science is I have worked in a bank where the financial data, where the data was being gathered. We would call it as data ingestion, and it would be loaded on the servers for transformation, all the 3,000 servers. And this particular bank would actually calculate, predict how much particular region like Malaysia or the whole Asia new business would come up, what will be their loan eligibility, how much money to be kept ready for the financing part. And then also on the applications I have worked where credit card eligibility was being calculated using the same data, individual data gathered from different source points. And in the same company, once this all the tools, technology, and processes related to the use cases of credit card, calculating eligibility and loan eligibility, they have introduced a cloud system from on-prem, and the business started developing the chatbots where a customer would come to the HSBC or their own bank and then have a conversation. So instead, they can go online and have it. So every business has seen this transformation where in 2012 they have this data being stored using the big data and other technologies. Then some of the applications like on the NLP side as a chatbot to reduce the uh, communication between have faster resolution for the customers so that they are happy, introduction to the chatbot. So AI started in this way as per my experience through the banking and through other consulting services, what I have seen. So once you are trained on the data science, become data analyst or the AI engineer, what are the other what will be the opportunities till when we can? So today you can analyze that all the companies which are working on anything on the trading, like the stock market data. So there are different type of companies also. Some companies are using the high frequency trading, right? So if you take the example of from India, individual level zero, the you invest in the stock, they also have the whole architecture orchestration of data science or AI, where they collect the data, analyze the data, whole process from zero dha to a company called as a Bedrock, where they work on the high frequency trading. So how it is important for them, this data is a small news, let's take from the Trump would make these companies actually invest in a new region or remove the money from their that particular region. Okay, so high frequency trading is where these companies would buy within seconds. I'll say within milliseconds, some 1 million stocks. They invest in one of the countries or the region, and then depending upon the real time news, they would just opt out or take it out. So you can imagine the use cases for the data science and the data handling part for the one of the domain is the stock market. And you can also see that one of the other use cases where if CB is monitoring how much important the data would be for them, the data gathering of the whole India. Like from the pandemic, you have 2 million accounts which are generated, which were created newly, and these accounts buy or sell stocks every day, right? So they would be using the data, analyzing the data. So you could be part of the data science team who in the CB, SEBI, where they are monitoring all this, where they monitor also for the fraud systems or anything that could go against the normal working or the standard working. So let's take an example of uh, at the India level also for the government also gathers all the data to check the economical progress. And at the individual company level also, let's take the example of Walmart. They have a data science team or AI team which would actually take gather do the part of data ingestion, cleaning, and then fine tuning their LLM or for their prediction on the supply chain disrupt so that their business goes good. Uh, as an example of many of the business would just rely on the real-time data, where a simple political decision would disrupt their normal functioning of their business. So they need this infrastructure set up, their data science as the AI team. They cannot it's not an option for many of the business today in 2025 not to have this for their smooth functioning. If they do not have AI, if they do not have the system where they can predict and get the insights, then any disruption would actually bury them in a very simple way. Okay, so you can understand that these will be the opportunities. I have just given you only some small cases depending upon my expertise because I do analyze all the news created apps where the whole news data for a particular region is giving me stock names for the companies where it can go up. Okay. So now the question is, how does business use this data, or what is the process that they have? So every company, which is actually most of the companies today, it has become mandatory for them to have the AI products or have the data part where they buy the data or get the data. Okay, and that's part of that is called as a data ingestion. Okay, this data is just not text. It's just not. Any other format, but many of the multivariants. It's like pic, video, audio, text, CSV, Excel, or web scraped data where they are seeing the comments. Okay. So, for example, BMW would buy the data from the Facebook from Hyderabad or whole South India. What is the likes of that particular BMW car? What they are speaking about it, is it good or bad, and from that insight they can actually change some of the design depending upon whatever the comments they write, whatever the problems they faced, if they can find those online or directly from the user using any form. So this way each and every company will have their own business use cases, but before that they need to get the data. That's called a data ingestion part, different types of data, just not text, but audio, video, web scrap data, all that is unstructured, and they make it into a structured data. Now, when we speak about velocity, volume, and veracity, veracity is the same like the multivariant data, different types of data there and the technologies that are used to capture and make it structured. So today, think that Flipkart, which is gathering all the data for so that a individual when he orders, they can say within 2 days it will reach their packet, right? So this prediction can happen depending upon many of the sources like the weather condition, the roads, the supply chain, their own warehouses, all the data, and then they predict and then send it to the customer saying that within 1 day or 2 day the parcel can reach their payment application, the preferences, the recommendations that they want to show. But this data is actually growing a lot. The velocity, you can imagine just in the last two slides I've given the velocity at which the users are using the mobile apps and their financial data, their all kinds of data, their movement, the transport from the IoT devices, the volume and the velocity. The difference in the volume and velocity is that volume is the total content measure and velocity the speed it is getting generated. Now, even the data when I'm using this Zoom or my computer is actually connected to the internet is generating some of the logs. So these logs will be also be added. And when I'm speaking about some things, these are getting into the analytics system of some of the companies. So they would have this data ingestion where they are buying the data or gathering the data and storing it. And they're using the big data technologies like Hadoop, Spark to store, to transform the data. They will be having their cloud systems for the pipeline. You could be working as ML engineers there on the data engineering part to create this pipeline, to maintain these pipelines where data is coming from the outer world unstructured. They structure it, store it in there, maybe the database on cloud or on-prem. They clean the data after that. After getting the data, they store it, they clean it, they sort it, they transform it. What is transformation? They add some more extra information so that the next steps, the data is very clear to them. Okay. Then after this data is ready, just like ChatGPT, how they have downloaded the whole internet data, they can train their LLM where the consumer is actually the client is actually uh, having a conversation or getting some help for their own data or fine tune their LLM. Or the first part after storage and transformation would be to get the insights, what the data is telling. If I gather all the data about the whole India and get to know what business predictions can happen, which new business is going to uh, give more customers, or what existing business need to change to get 20% more profit, right? So these insights will be generated. Then they can also train their LLM or train their existing models, fine tune them using this data and the insights. Okay. Later, all after getting the data, storing it, working on it, doing some action on it, and then making business use case out of it, they can actually sell it to any of the other clients. That's monetization of the data. Yeah. So one of the use case would be any auto company or any car company having data gathered from all these servers, all the cars from their client, from their customers, having the sensors from the dashboard about the tire pressure, how much, which distance they have traveled. They can sell it to the insurance company, and this insurance company can charge the customer, the owner of the car, directly depending upon the distance traveled, the age of the car, number of services from the sensor. So these are the business use cases at the end, which the company would like to see after performing these tasks. That is the first part in the whole AI, or we call it data science, where everything is data, getting the data, storing it, cleaning it, transforming it, and then getting the insights, training their LLM, fine tuning their LLM, making it perfect up till date, and then later they can also monetize it. Okay. Yeah. As per the next slide, you can see, so you're getting trained for the data science roles, right? If I'm little fast, you can actually pause, see the slide and understand it. So these are the rules. When once as anybody as a fresher, I am nearly 10 years or 11 years experience, 10 plus with when I was nearly like 5 years before started with the AI, I was 7 years into full stack development with the as front end and back end, front end as React, back end as Python, Java, and I was a fresher in the AI. So the first role would be as a data analyst who would have the skill of the Python as a programming language, uh, Excel to work on the Excel, statistics on any of the BI tools like Tableau, Power BI. Within coming years, you can get any new one, and the SQL is always there to stay. Now, data engineer is the one who will create the data pipeline where the data is coming, getting stored, uh, and so they are basically on the ML ops, machine learning ops. DevOps is the person, also called ML ops, is with respect to the operations where they're creating the pipeline on the cloud, working on the ETL, where you have the data, which is just not text but multivariant. Even the ML ops guys are familiar with the GCP and AWS, where multi-cloud system or hybrid cloud is there. Some of the resources in the GCP are very good with some of with ML, and in the AWS for the predictions, it is where some of the resources are good. So they use interchangeably the hybrid cloud for extraction, transformation, and loading. ETL is this part. Same in the last slide we have seen. We are getting the data, extracting it, we are transforming it, we are loading in the technology using any of the technology like the database on-prem or cloud. Okay. Now, the data scientists mostly are the PhD guys who work on the model creation like regression, KNN, or supervised, unsupervised model. Now is uh, the CNN or the neural networks or the now with respect to the Gen AI, agentic AI, agentic AI. So the traditional way of working with the waterfall, agile, creating web applications, enterprise editions will be replaced as they have said it, predicted. The leaders of the industry have predicted that traditional model of the SaaS will be dead and agentic AI or the workflow will take place. Okay. Other rules like prompt engineer, they say uh, it's 50% non-technical, but I would suggest to have a little bit hands-on with the Python and understanding what is LLM and other models. So prompt engineer would fine-tune the models with their prompt, like their LLMs are being trained on the vast data, but some of the prompts can give vague answers, so they will be fine-tuning them using the prompts. Even prompts are just like before AI, before ChatGPT, we used to have these prompts directly to the Google search engine, but this would redirect it to any web application. That was the normal functioning. But after AI tools like ChatGPT, Gemini, where you will type some search queries which are called prompt in a particular way, and then you get the answer as the client. Now they in the company, these they will be training using some fine-tuned prompts, some professional prompts where it will fine-tune the LLMs. Okay. Other roles are very generic to some of the companies, like data analyst expert who are working on these BI tools like Tableau 1 year before, 2 years before. Now, because of the cheap license fee and more functionalities, Power BI and the pipelines also they would be working to create or maintain. So these are the different roles as in the data science, but first always comes as the data analyst, where you'll be working mostly on the BI tools, and you will need to have the knowledge of the Python to understand the model, what it is doing. Of course, the Excel formulas, statistics, probability, and uh, SQL commands, so that you can do perform some action on the data, on the tables, RDBMS and NoSQL. Okay. So you can see the data scientist as the role, machine learning engineer, what is required. So you would start first with the data analyst as the role, and depending upon if you want to handle the pipeline, the DevOps, ML ops, you'll become the data engineer. Or if you're very on the ML model side, the mathematical explanation or fine tuning as a data scientist. Some of the rules very specific, where the statisticians who are good with statistics, they work as statisticians. And also I can see some of the rules like business intelligence BA guys using intelligence BI, where BA guys are bridging the gap between the client who are non-technical and the developer team or the AI team who are totally technical. Okay, so they are the bridge between the client and our technical team. So these are the same roles which you will start with data analyst. Again, the same repeated depending upon which technologies you're using. You will become a machine engineer for the maintenance of the data pipeline or ML models, fine-tuning them, maintaining them, storing them. Data scientist with respect to the model, data engineer, BA, or this way. Okay. Now, while with this training, if you are only a Python developer or a Java developer or .NET developer, how as a developer you maintain the GitHub profile, you'll also have to maintain the GitHub profile, which will speak as a resume for you. So in this training, we'll be helping you with maintaining the GitHub profile, the Kaggle. Kaggle is the place where all the data model, it is like the GitHub of data scientist. Okay. And for the models to host these models, reuse these models, we have the Hugging Face and find, and it's better always to have your own apps. If you're an Android developer, have your own apps uploaded in the Android, which speaks like a resume to you, because in coming years, your work will be seen, your GitHub profile will be seen, your Kaggle profile will be seen, and then you will be called for the interview or you will be judged with your skills. Okay. Now the newer version where not just now but since 1 year we have the agentic workflow, which is the specialty of this training, where we'll be working on the agentic workflow, having your own use cases, having your own whole workflow being uploaded with the code. Okay, so the companies can directly see that you have done the hands-on with the agentic AI workflows, Gen AI models also. Okay, so how the next months the training will takes place with these use cases is in this way. So we will be starting with content using the Python with all the courses, all the tools like from the scratch of Hello World to the different classes on the arithmetic operators with the different classes on the object oriented from the basics to the part of data structures up till the web application development on par with Django and Fast API. Then we will be going ahead with the XLG statistics with all the statistics concepts in class wise. Okay. Hands-on with the SQL vector database. And then we'll be going with the EDA, exploratory data analysis using NumPy, Pandas, which is under data processing with those use cases. And then with the ML models, all the models which are actually used, like the supervised, unsupervised, with data processing, regression, classification, clustering, okay, reinforcement, deep learning, model selection. Then we'll be having prompt engineering with all the levels, all the prompts, how it works. And we will be doing mainly the next part as AWS Cloud with SageMaker and the Bedrock, which is specific to the machine learning and agentic workflows, Gen AI implementations. The other tools, you'll have the different tools, experience and hands-on. So we'll be going ahead and accessing these tools, each one or two from each of the different departments here, like operation, consumer, personal AI, and very specific is ANAM, which our code is getting integrated with. Then you have the Gen AI use cases with LangChain, Vector DB, okay, all the basic.